Listen closely, beloved, for I speak into the quiet places of your heart. You who feel unseen, unheard, untouched by affection, come near. You who have prayed beneath blankets of loneliness and walked through valleys where not a single voice called your name, lean in, for I am here. And I want to speak to you about the heaviness you carry, that hidden ache, that silent question you have whispered in the dark. Why does God allow me to feel unloved? Let us begin right where you are, not where you pretend to be. Not where you stand in the daylight for others to admire, but where you collapse at midnight behind the walls you built to protect yourself. There, in that secret chamber of longing, I speak. Imagine for a moment that your soul is a garden. Some seasons bring roses, those days when affection flows easily and certainty blossoms like petals in the morning sun. Other seasons bring drought, the ground cracks, the leaves curl, and you wonder if the gardener has forgotten you. But I tell you this, drought is never forgetfulness. Silence is never abandonment. Emptiness is never my absence. When you feel unloved, you are not experiencing my distance. You are encountering the space where I carve room for deeper sight. You see, love that is always felt becomes something you grow accustomed to, like a constant breeze you stop noticing on your skin. But love that is discovered, unearthed like a spring beneath hard soil, becomes something you treasure, something that transforms you. Let me speak plainly. There are moments when I allow the feeling of unlovedness not to punish you, but to awaken you, to stir the soil of your heart so you may find me not in the noise of affection, but in the quiet of longing. Perhaps you have noticed it. When others fail to love you, your heart becomes more attentive, more open, more willing to search for a love that does not depend on human voices or fragile devotion. Ask yourself, if every voice praised you, would you ever listen for mine? If every heart embraced you, would you ever lean upon mine? If the world's affection satisfied you, would you hunger for the eternal? I do not let you feel unloved to wound you. I allow it to teach you that the love of flesh is never enough to sustain a soul made of eternity. Think of a child learning to walk. The parent does not hold the child every second, though the parent's heart longs to. There comes a moment when the parent must loosen the grip, take a step back, and let the little one wobble forward. Not because the parent is unloving, but because love is sometimes expressed not by holding tightly, but by letting you discover your own strength. So it is with you. When you feel unloved, you are learning to stand. You are learning to walk in a world where affection is often imperfect. You are learning to recognize that your worth does not depend on who remembers you, who speaks to you, or who embraces you. You are learning to find your balance in me. And yet, I know how deeply it hurts. I know how the silence echoes. I know how the absence of affection can feel like rejection, like being cast out to wander through emotional desert sands. I know because I walked through deserts too, deserts of misunderstanding, deserts of isolation, deserts where even those closest to me fell asleep when I needed them awake. Yes, I know what loneliness tastes like, but I also know what it reveals. Beloved, sit with me a moment more and let me show you something. Picture a lamp in a bright room. Its light goes unnoticed because the room is already filled with brightness. But place that same lamp in the darkness. Suddenly its flame becomes a revelation. When your heart passes through the dim valley of feeling unloved, my light within you becomes far more vivid, far more radiant, far more unmistakable. And here lies a mystery you may not have considered. Sometimes I allow you to feel unloved not because you lack love, but because I am reshaping your understanding of it. You have been taught by the world that love is found in approval, attention, affection, applause. But I tell you, love is found in truth, in presence, in purpose, in transformation. It is found in the quiet companionship of my spirit, who walks beside you even when every other hand lets go. Let me ask you something. Do you know how gold is purified? It is placed in fire. Not to destroy it, but to remove what does not belong. The fire reveals the true. The fire refines. The fire clarifies. When you feel unloved, you are passing through the refining fire that burns away false belonging. You see who truly stands with you. You discover which relationships are rooted in depth and which were mere shadows. You learn to stop clinging to those who cannot hold your heart. And you begin to recognize that some departures are not losses, they are liberations. For not everyone who walks with you is meant to carry you. Not every voice that praises you is meant to guide you. Not every presence that comforts you is meant to complete you. Some wounds protect you more than they harm you. Some absences speak louder than presence. Some seasons of feeling unloved teach you to love yourself in the way I love you, with patience, mercy, gentleness, and truth. Yes, truth. For the truth is this: you were never unloved. You only felt unloved. And the feeling, though powerful, is not the final word. It is only the beginning of the conversation I am having with your soul. You who feel abandoned, I have never left you. You who feel unseen, my eyes have never once turned away. You who feel unwanted, my hands have carved your name into eternity. But feelings are waves, and waves can distort the vision of the shore. So when the waves rise, you think the land has disappeared. Yet the land remains steadfast and unchanging even when you cannot see it. I remain, even when you cannot feel me, even when the world grows cold, even when your heart grows weary. Stay with me now, for there is more to unfold. You have not yet heard the full truth of why the path leads through loneliness, why the hollow places of your heart are sacred, why the ache you carry is not a curse but an invitation. And so, beloved, let us continue walking deeper. And as we walk, I want to take you into a deeper chamber of the heart, a place so often overlooked that many pass through life without ever unlocking it. This chamber is called the hunger for belonging, a hunger I placed within you not as a flaw but as a compass. For what is hunger if not a sign of life? What is longing if not the echo of the one who formed you? And what is the feeling of being unloved if not the opening through which true love reveals itself? You may not see it yet, but hear me. If I allowed you to feel constantly filled by human affection, you would never uncover the deeper nourishment your spirit was created for. You would stay satisfied on crumbs when a feast exists within arm's reach. Come with me to the well for a moment, the deep, ancient well of your inner life. Most people draw from the shallow waters at the top: approval, validation, recognition, temporary affection. These waters quench the thirst only for a short while, leaving you parched again by nightfall. But when you feel unloved, you are compelled to draw deeper. You lower the bucket past the surface, into the hidden aquifers of your soul, until it finally touches the waters that do not dry up. This is the purpose of the ache. It pushes you downward, inward, deeper than you have ever gone before. You see, beloved, some transformations do not happen in sunlight. Some unfold only in shadow. Some revelations speak only when the world grows quiet enough for you to hear my whisper. And my whisper says, "Come closer. Do not run from the empty places. They are doorways." Let me tell you a story. There was once a traveler who wandered through a barren valley. For miles she saw nothing but stones and dust, and loneliness pressed against her like a cold wind. One evening, exhausted and uncertain, she stumbled upon a hollow in the earth. Inside the hollow was a tiny spring, barely more than a trickle but unmistakably alive. She bent to drink and tasted water sweeter than any she had ever known. It refreshed her in a way she could not explain. And as she drank, she realized something profound. The valley had not been empty. It had been guiding her, quietly, painfully, toward the spring she never would have sought if the world around her had been lush. So it is with your heart. If your life were always filled to the brim with affection, you would never discover the spring hidden in your soul. The place where my love rises, pure and untainted by human fragility. And yes, human love is fragile. It is beautiful, but it is fragile. It breaks under pressure. It fades with time. It is limited by wounds, misunderstandings, fears, uncertainties. But my love is not fragile. My love is everlasting. My love is the spring in the valley. When you feel unloved, you stand at the threshold of discovering that eternal spring. You are presented with a choice: to seek love where it is shallow, or to seek it where it runs deep. Beloved, choose the deep. Now listen to this truth, one that may surprise you. I allow you to feel unloved not only for your sake, but for the sake of the love you will one day give. For how can you truly embrace another's wounded heart if you have not known the taste of woundedness yourself? How can you comfort the lonely if you have never walked through loneliness? How can you recognize the cries masked by smiles if you have never cried behind your own? You who have felt unloved, you will one day love with a gentleness others cannot fathom. Your compassion will not be shallow. Your empathy will not be artificial. You will see people others overlook. You will hear the silent cries. You will notice the dimming lights in weary souls. And you will say, "I know that valley. Walk with me. There is a spring." Your wounds will become lanterns. Your tears will become wisdom. Your nights will become guidance for others standing in their own darkness. This is why I do not erase your pain with a single breath. I redeem it. You live in a world that worships the instant, the effortless, the immediate. But I am shaping you with patience, with process, with eternal vision. I am not interested in momentary relief that fades. I am interested in transforming you into someone who carries love not as a temporary gift but as a living well. The feeling of being unloved is a refiner's fire, molding you into a vessel capable of carrying deep love. Not only receiving it but becoming it. Let me ask you something. When have you grown the most? During seasons of comfort or seasons of aching? When did your heart become wiser? When everyone embraced you or when you searched for the meaning of your solitude? When did your faith deepen? In abundance or in the quiet where you questioned my presence? Yes, it is the valley that teaches. It is the valley that strengthens. It is the valley that reveals. But the valley is not your home. It is your classroom. And even there, I walk with you. You may say, but why does it hurt so much? Why does the emptiness feel so real? And I answer, because love matters. Because connection matters. Because your soul was crafted for communion, first with me, then with others. The pain you feel is not a flaw in your design. It is evidence of your divine architecture. Think of a harp. Its strings must be stretched to create music. If the strings remain slack, they produce no sound, no resonance, no beauty. So too with your heart. I allow the stretching, not to break you, but to tune you, to bring forth a song that can only rise when the soul has been drawn taut between longing and hope. You may not like the stretching. It may feel like too much. You may wonder if you're about to snap. But hear this. A string stretched by the master's hand does not break. It becomes music. And this music, your music, will one day flow into the lives of others who stand where you now stand, feeling unloved and forgotten. You will be the reminder they long for. You will be the voice that says, you are not alone. Walk with me. But before you can offer that love, you must first walk through your own valley. You must first discover the spring. You must first learn that you are held even when you feel abandoned, loved even when you feel forsaken, cherished even when no human voice speaks your name. Stay here a moment longer. Breathe. Feel the weight of these words settle into your soul. There is more to say, beloved. More to reveal. More to unfold. And now, as the path bends gently into deeper silence, imagine the voice that speaks to the tender corners of your heart. The voice that has always known you, always held you, always called you by name, continuing to whisper. Beloved, you who walk through the valley of feeling unloved, do not fear the shadows that stretch across your path. For I walk beside you, even when your eyes cannot see me. Let these words settle like soft rain upon the soil of your soul. For there is another layer to the mystery of loneliness, a truth often hidden beneath the first ache. A truth that does not shout, but reveals itself patiently, like dawn rising slowly over distant hills. Loneliness is not merely the absence of love, it is the awakening of desire. And desire, when held in the hands of the eternal, becomes a holy thing. So many hearts try to extinguish this desire, believing it to be a flaw. But desire is not your enemy. It is the flame that guides you toward deeper purpose. Listen to how the gentle voice continues. If you did not feel the ache, you would not seek the one who made you. If you did not experience the emptiness, you would not open your hands to receive what only heaven can place within them. It is in this longing that sacred transformation begins. You see, when a seed lies in the earth, it feels the crushing weight of darkness. It knows nothing of sunlight, nothing of open air, nothing of the world waiting above it. All it knows is that it has been buried. And yet, buried is not the same as abandoned. Buried is not the same as unloved. Buried is the beginning of resurrection. So hear this clearly. When you feel unloved, you are not buried as the world buries things forgotten. You are planted. And the soil that surrounds you, the silence, the solitude, the aching, these are not signs of neglect. They are signs of becoming. You are being prepared to break open. You are being prepared to rise. You are being prepared to bear fruit that only grows in those who have known the quiet struggle beneath the surface. Consider this. Every tree that towers with strength once broke through the earth in fragile vulnerability. Every garden bursting with life once endured a season hidden from all eyes but the gardener's. So too with your heart. You stand in a sacred season though it feels like sorrow. You walk through a holy valley though it feels like emptiness. You are being shaped, stretched, expanded, though it feels like longing. There is a voice calling you deeper still. Do not mistake the silence for my absence. Do not mistake the emptiness for my disapproval. Do not mistake the ache for my distance. For I am nearest to you in the places where you feel most alone. And perhaps this is the truth you have been longing to hear. The feeling of being unloved is not the evidence of your unworthiness. It is the evidence of your capacity to love deeply. your capacity to feel profoundly, your capacity to receive beyond the limits of human affection. For only vessels that have been emptied can be filled anew. Only hearts that have been stretched can carry more compassion than they once held. Only souls that have walked through the valley of loneliness can recognize the presence that never leaves them. Take a moment now. Place your hand upon your chest. Feel your heartbeat. Let it remind you that you are alive with purpose, even when you feel forgotten by others. And listen again as the gentle, eternal voice speaks. I am teaching you to be loved in a way that does not shatter when people fail, does not fade when the world grows cold, does not break when relationships shift like seasons. For human affection, though precious, is changeable. It rises and falls like the tide, beautiful but unpredictable. And the eternal desires that you anchor your soul not to shifting sands, but to a foundation that does not move. Imagine a lighthouse on a stormy coast. Waves crash against it with relentless force. Winds howl. The night is dark and raging. Yet the lighthouse stands unshaken, its light cutting through the tempest. This is the kind of love the Eternal teaches you to trust. A love not weakened by storms. A love not silenced by distance. A love not undone by the fragility of human hearts. But in order to trust this love, you must first see how easily the heart clings to illusions of security. You must learn, through the ache, what truly holds you and what merely comforts you for a moment. And so the divine voice continues. When you feel unloved, I am inviting you to look beyond the surface, to see who really loves you, to see what truly nourishes you, to recognize which attachments bring life, and which only drain your spirit. For there are relationships you chase that were never meant to shape your destiny. There are voices you longed for that were never meant to define your worth. There are people whose presence you desired, though their hearts were never capable of holding your own. Sometimes the feeling of being unloved is not a punishment, it is protection. Protection from settling for less than the truth. Protection from building your identity on foundations that would have eventually collapsed. Protection from investing your heart in places where love was too small to contain it. Hear the whisper again. Do not grieve every absence. Some absences are mercy in disguise. Some doors close not because you are unloved, but because you are being guided toward a greater love. And with that, let your breath soften. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your spirit exhale the tension you have been holding for so long. There is another truth unfolding now, a truth you may have sensed but could never quite name. Those who have felt unloved develop a sensitivity that becomes a blessing to the world. For when you have stood in the valley of loneliness, you recognize others who stand there too. You see the subtle signs in their eyes, their posture, their voices. You understand without explanation. You walk toward them when others walk past. The Eternal speaks this over you. You will carry a gentleness that only grows in hearts that have been broken and healed. You will carry a compassion that only rises from deep places. You will love with a sincerity that only those who have felt unloved can fully comprehend. Your ache becomes ministry. Your longing becomes empathy. Your wounds become wisdom. Your nights become lanterns for others. And what a profound truth this is. The parts of your story you once wished to erase become the very parts through which the light shines brightest. But there is even more to reveal. More depth, more understanding, more comfort.